Good morning and welcome to On the Spot News right here on Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne Muchaka and let's take a look at the news making the headlines. Triple C's Amos Chibaya arrested. Job Sikala falls sick in prison. Missing ZANU-PF member was visiting lover in Mozambique. Triple C supporters arrested over his abduction. Zim Association to continue fighting SA permit special permit cancellation. Corruption bedevils granite mining activities. ZANU-PF bigwigs face X in purge. Chinese investment give new impetus to Zimbabwe's mining sector growth. And in sports, Dimbari fire blanks in Drab Draw and Gweri Sports Club to be relocated. And now for the news in detail. The Citizens Coalition for Change organizing champion and Mkoba member of parliament has been arrested. Honorable Chibaya is currently being taken to Gweri Magistrate Court. According to the charge sheet, Honorable Chibaya is being charged with failure to give notice of a procession contravening Section 7, Section 5 of Maintenance of Peace Act, where it is alleged that on 30 April 2022 that he addressed a rally at Gwindingwi Mountains in Charandura without notifying the regulatory authority. A ZANU-PF Chimanimani district youth chairperson who was allegedly kidnapped by opposition Citizens Coalition for Change supporters was visiting his girlfriend in Mozambique, it has emerged. Nicholas Madzianike was reported missing on June 19, and Triple C supporters Chengetai Musudu, Hakata Musudu, and Aaron Chisemo were subsequently arrested in connection with the claimed abduction. Police confirmed at the weekend without giving more details that Madzianike had been found. However, sources in Chimanimani said Madzianike was discovered on Saturday soon after returning from Mozambique, where he had gone to see his girlfriend. Triple C youths have questioned police impartiality following these claims by Nicholas Madzianike, who is a ZANU-PF youth chairperson for Bumba in Chimanimani. The interim youth spokesperson, Stephen Chuma, said they are shocked that the police are now targeting Triple C members and that the police show double standards, citing the case of 3 Triple C female officials who were slapped with charges after they were abducted. Citizens Coalition for Change Vice Chairperson Honorable Job Sikala is reportedly unwell at Chikurubi Maximum Prison. This was revealed by Hopo Chingono, who paid him a visit over the weekend. According to Chingono, Sikala is reportedly having difficulties in walking due to a swollen limb and is also afflicted with chest pain. Sikala was arrested by police 20 days ago together with Chitungwiza North Member of Parliament, Honorable Godfrey Karakadzai Sitole, on trumped-up charges of inciting public violence. The duo were denied bail by Harare magistrate, and since then they have been languishing at Chikurubi Maximum Prison pending bail application at High Court. Meanwhile, Triple C has launched an audacious campaign demanding for the release of its 13 members who were arrested following political violence in Nyatsime. Running under the hashtag Free the Nyatsime 13, Triple C is demanding for the release of its members, arguing that they are victims of political violence and not perpetrators. Triple C spokesperson Fazai Mahere condemned the dragnet approach by the police, targeting Triple C members and activists. The Zimbabwe Permit Holders Association says it has not withdrawn its court challenge against the South African government's decision to discontinue the Zimbabwe special permit. The South African government discontinued the special permit meant to regularize the stay of Zimbabweans in the country. There are fears that this move will affect thousands of Zimbabweans who relied on the permits. The government says its doors remain open for constructive engagement with the affected Zimbabwean nationals. A letter sent by the Department of Home Affairs to Africa Amity on 31 December 2021 stated that the exemptions granted to Zimbabweans was and has always been a temporary measure pending the improvement of the economic situation in Zimbabwe. Youth have been urged to utilize their majority numbers for good by registering to vote and voting for change. This was said by Wange Central Legislator and Triple C Deputy Treasurer General Honorable Daniel Molokele, who said there is no substitute for participating in electoral processes if the youth want a responsible government in this country. Molokele said voter registration is still open at ZAC district and provincial offices and urged youths to seize the opportunity and register to vote in the upcoming 2023 general elections. The latest World Bank report has shown that at least 6.4 million Zimbabweans are living in abject poverty and below the international poverty rate. The report shows that from the 6.4 million, each citizen is living on less than $90 per day. Economic analyst Rejoice Ngwenya said the latest figures from the World Bank are an indictment on Emerson Mnangagwa's government. He added that under normal circumstances, Finance Minister Mkhulu Ncube was supposed to have long resigned due to failure of his economic policies. A new report has unearthed gross corruption in the mining of black granite by Chinese and European countries in Motoko and parts of Mount Darren. The report, titled From Mountains of Hope to Antilles of Despair, was compiled by two academics, James Sabura and Darlington Chidarara. A number of companies, which include Natural Stone, CRG, Zimbabwe International Quarry, Enterprises, and Ilford Red, are extracting granite in Motoko. Investigations have lifted a lid on their opaque activities. The report findings are cemented by the grinding poverty of the people of Motoko, which stands in stark contrast to the abundance of the precious stone, which is in high demand in Europe and America. The bulk of the granite is then exported to Europe, particularly Italy and Spain, but the proceeds hardly trickle down to affected communities. Among the negative consequences of the granite extraction are large-scale violation of land rights, environmental degradation, forcible relocations and evictions, discrimination, labor rights violations, including perpetual short-term contracts, denial of the right to organize and the right to collective bargaining, corruption, failure to comply with health and safety standards for employees, exposure of communities and workers to pollution of the air, soil, water, and noise. Several ZANU-PF heavyweights are living on borrowed time as the party hurdles towards a potentially divisive Congress later this year, amid revelations that many will lose their influential positions in the Central Committee. President Mnangagwa is seen as being eager to consolidate his position in the ruling party ahead of the 2023 elections. Mnangagwa is said to be facing growing opposition within ZANU-PF because of his perceived failure to solve an economic crisis that began under the watch of his mentor, the late Robert Mugabe. The ZANU-PF Congress will be held in October, and there's talk within the ruling party corridors that Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, who led the 2017 coup that toppled Mugabe and restored the now 79-year-old president, might challenge his boss. Mnangagwa has already ensured that the women and youth leagues, which held their elective conferences recently, are captured by his allies, and the Central Committee is the next on his radar, insiders said. They said there's perceived to be on Chiwenga's side face the big risk of losing their positions in elections for the Central Committee in the coming weeks. The Central Committee, which meets once in 3 months, is the principal organ of the Congress and consists of 230 members drawn from the country's 10 provinces. The indications that the factions within the ruling party are already plotting against each other, and there's a growing push by the youth to have a bigger say in the running of the party's affairs. Triple C legislator for Bingo North and interim provincial chairperson for Matabeleland North, Honorable Prince Dubego Sibanda, has called for the government to capacitate and equip small-scale miners in order to curb mine collapse deaths and to improve their businesses. Honorable Sibanda was speaking following an engagement with some of the small-scale miners in Bubi district over weekend, said the Triple C government, when elected into power next year, will do more to address the needs of small-scale miners. Zimbabwe is witnessing an influx of Chinese investment in the mining sector as the resource rich Southern African country seeks to increase mineral production and maximize beneficiation in order to get better returns from its vast mineral wealth. It is still to be seen what these investments are bringing to the table. In 2019, Zimbabwe set out an ambitious drive to more than quadruple mining sector revenue by holding minerals worth 12 billion US dollars by 2023. In other news, Triple C Women Change champions have expressed concern over low women representation in politics and called for more participation of women as candidates in next year's general election. Triple C Women Change champions' concerns come in the wake of a report by the Zimbabwe Gender Commission, which shows poor representation of women in local government, House of Assembly, and presidential elections. Triple C Women spokesperson Barbara Tanyanyua has urged political parties to do more to address gender disparities in political representation. A Beitbridge man is lucky to be alive after he was mauled by a police dog which bit his private parts last Thursday. Police did not send to hospital the badly injured Protege Kwangware, despite the law stating he should be treated for dog bites even if the police dog is vaccinated. The incident happened a few months after the Zimbabwe Republic Police paid a whopping $2 million to another Beitbridge resident who was mauled by dogs in 2021. For Kwangware, a known habitual criminal, what started as a public fight between him and one Energy Chisora in Zimus Township ended with an entire Beitbridge urban police station hunting him down in a mission to avenge. Kwangware was having an altercation with a friend identified as Bright Mapfumo when an off-duty policeman Chisora in his civilian attire, who appeared just as a passerby, started filming with his mobile phone. Sensing a further beating, Chisora then produced his um, police identity card and Kwangware let go and the fight ended. Some 4 days later, Kwangware said he was in bed with his wife when police kicked open his door and unleashed their dogs, which mauled him all over the body and his manhood. Prosecutor Pithe Magumula had opposed bail, saying Kwangware was likely to commit other offenses since he had a pending case and had just finished a community service sentence. Now we cross over to South Africa, where a Zimbabwean man was shot dead in Dambuza. It is alleged that four unknown men, two of whom had their faces covered, stormed into Matthew Maduku Famba's home, demanding money on Wednesday at around 3:30 p.m. After giving them the keys, the Zimbabwean national, who was a welder by profession, was shot in the presence of his wife and a 21-year-old son. KwaZulu-Natal police spokesperson Constable Tengis Kwanklobo said police were called to a murder scene and on their arrival, they were shown the body of a 50-year-old man with gunshot wounds to the upper body, and the police are investigating a murder and robbery case. And now we turn over to news. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has moved the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations from June 2023 to January 2024. The decision, which was made over the weekend, follows concerns of torrential rainfall disturbances by the hosting country, Ivory Coast, if the tournament is to be held in June. Meanwhile, CAF has also reverted the CAF Champion League final to a two-legged match after complaints over neutral venues. And Dynamo's coach, Tony Ryan has appealed for patience from the team supporters and urged them to trust the players despite a troubled start to the second half of the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. The Harare Giants were held to a goalless draw by Triangle at the National Sports Stadium yesterday as they fell 5 points behind leaders FC Platinum. Yesterday's results followed a surprise 1-0 defeat to Yada last week, and alarm bells are beginning to ring in their camp. Fans responded to another listless showing by jeering and booing the players. And now, to end this news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Amos Chibaya arrested. Sikala falls sick in prison. Missing ZANU-PF was visiting Lava in Mozambique. Triple C supporters arrested over his abduction. Zim Association to continue fighting SA special permit cancellation. Corruption bedevils granite mining activities. ZANU-PF bigwigs face X in purge. And in sports, Dimbare fire blanks in a drab draw. This has been your news bulletin right here on Zimbabwe Daily. Thank you for tuning in.